Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is a beautiful Saturday morning and I've got myself a nice little coffee here. I just want to have a really good spring/summer day where I take the time to spend time doing the things that I enjoy the most in my life right now. So just a little bit of a background on the thought behind this concept and this video is that it is now pretty much the latter half of November and the year is coming to a close, and I really am thinking about my reflections on the year that I've had and also thinking about the intentions that I have for next year. And one of the things that I keep on coming back to in terms of my goals and the things that I want to integrate and spend more time on is to lean more into habits and hobbies and practices that are aligned with the person that I want to become. One of the aesthetics or internet trends that has really resonated with the way that I would like to end off this year and the type of energy I would like to take into next year is the idea of the thought daughter. And as far as I know, it's obviously the term comes from a subversion of the manosphere, disparaging of women, specifically the idea of a thought daughter. But like a thought daughter is something that's like turning that on its head, and in my mind it's inherently feminist, representing a woman or girl who is in touch with her thoughts and her emotions and is intellectually curious and is willing and able to curate her thoughts and to express them and to take time to engage in activities and hobbies that cultivate her thoughts and her life experiences. So that's kind of really what the inspiration behind this video series that I'm going to be doing is, just small ways and habits and hobbies that I can cultivate my own thoughts and cultivate my own personhood in line with the type of woman I'd like to be and the type of woman I'd like to become. Just an active participation in my growth as an intellectual and as a woman in society. When I think about what a thought daughter can do, obviously it's unique to each and every person. When you think about great female thinkers, great female writers, no one is really doing the exact same thing, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that it can express itself in different ways. But for me, I think someone with my hobbies, which include journaling, reading, watching cinema critically, spending time outside in nature, drawing, painting, sketching, writing, engaging with my mind and curating instead of just consuming. Yeah, so that's kind of what this series is going to be about. Me intentionally taking the time to explore different hobbies that are in line with the intellectual person I would like to become. Yeah, so for today I have a few things planned that I'm going to do. Nothing crazy, just going out to a bookstore, seeing a few books, a bit of self-care hobbies, annotating and journaling. It's a beautiful spring day here in Johannesburg, so I'm really excited to go out and explore my city a bit more. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Hey guys, it is me again and I'm back at home. I went to the bookstore. I actually went to a branch of the bookstore that I have never been to, and it was very nice. Their selection of books was so much better than the other branches of that store that I've been to. They just had a lot more literary fiction novels, which are more to my taste. A lot more Booker Prize, Fitzcarraldo Press, that sort of speed, and like a couple of literary novels that I haven't seen at my local branch, or even the more flagship branch, I guess you could say. I haven't seen them, but at this specific location they had so many amazing literary fiction novels, which I'm super excited that I discovered that. So if I ever want to get something that I maybe can't get online or secondhand, I could definitely go and check it out there. And then I also ended up going to a cafe for a bit of a bite to eat and a drink. The food honestly wasn't that good. It just tasted bad, and the drink was not very good. I couldn't finish it. Just wasn't up to my taste. It wasn't my taste, I guess. While I was at the cafe, I did some journaling, and I started on this spread. It's just a little spread that I've done on myths around fairies. I actually read this book called The Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and is a very good book, and I wanted to delve deeper into the lore of fairies and the history of it, because it's obviously rooted in folklore and things like that. So I was just interested in picking out different actual points of folklore that were present in the book, and I'm gonna actually go back and have the book next to me and see all the different folklore examples that I've found where they show up in the book, just for like a fun little knowledge experiment. And then also, while I was at the cafe, I started reading Tender as the Flesh by Augustina Basterica, and it seems like a really good read. I only read the first chapter, and I also decided to annotate while I'm reading. So I have like this little bit that I wrote here, underlining points and writing little notes on the side. I'm enjoying the book so far. It's only been one chapter, but I really like how she's writing, and I like how she lays out the foundation of the world for us from the onset. And honestly, the premise of this book in some ways reminds me of Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Except in that book it was frustrating because we had to wait until the very end until we figured out what the whole premise of the world was, whereas in this book, from the onset, we given the information and being pulled in through other means, not just not knowing what is going on in the world. And another thing I wanted to talk about was that I obviously am not very good at filming in public, and that's something that I have to practice and work on. I think that I get very much in my head about pulling out my camera in public. It's just a lot easier if you're with someone, and I'm not with anyone, so it's a bit harder for me in a public space. Yeah, so I think that that's something I'm going to be challenging myself on in this series. It's just having more confidence to film while I'm by myself. For today, I do have some phone shots, but I think next time I'm gonna really try to pull out my camera and get 1 or 2 shots, even if it feels uncomfortable or weird. That's gonna be my mission for my next installment of this series. I was actually supposed to go to a park as well, but I think I left quite late, and so by the time I left the cafe, it was raining a little bit and still kind of drizzling here and there. There's also a bit of thunder in the sky, so I think the park will have to wait for another day. But all in all, I feel like I've had so far a really great day, and I feel like I felt like it was easier working at the cafe because I wasn't distracted by picking up my phone and scrolling. It was just like I was there in that moment. I was writing what I needed to write, and it was actually very nice. I enjoyed going to the cafe, and I really enjoyed seeing all those cool titles of the novels. Later on, I'm going to be doing my nails. They are currently not in a good state. So that's going to be my goal for the evening. Hey guys, so it is a little bit later in the evening and I'm actually back from gym. I went there. Right now I just want to do my nails. And the first step that I'm going to do is remove the clear nail polish that I have ready. I actually did my nails, or at least I tried to do my nails like a week ago, but they chipped, so I had to take them off. So this is attempt number 2, and we'll see if this goes any better. I'm gonna try and do a different style of nails, so I hope that helps with everything. Obviously, another part of being a thought daughter is not just consuming sort of like AI slop content or like commercial content, but art that has been made with intention. And I think obviously I have to do my nails, and that is something that takes a very long time. So in this time I want to put on a film. I'm really not sure which film I want to put on, so I think I'm just gonna like unironically scroll on TikTok until I find something that I hope speaks to me, or at least sounds interesting, or I feel like I could learn from. So that evening I ended up watching a movie called Repulsion, and I enjoyed it for the most part. And now we have the next day, and for this day I was continuing reading my book Tender is the Flesh, and I wanted to show some of the annotations that I had already made in the book. And if you haven't heard about this book, it is essentially a dystopian novel which follows a not so distant future where all animals have been infected by a virus which causes humans to start to breed and consume other humans in the place of animals. And this book was incredibly interesting. I genuinely have a preference for dystopian novels in general, but the commentary on capitalism, the commentary on exploitation, the commentary on classism was just, and also the commentary on being a woman, it was honestly elite. One of the best books that I've read this year, and I gave it 5 stars immediately. And this is later on in the evening, and now I am actually continuing on with my journal that I showed earlier. I'm just sticking in some images so that it looks interesting and fun.
A walk-in wardrobe, looking out on the city where you grew up. It's become too much for you. Out the window, the small town where I grew up, and it's not enough for me. My